Hey people, D-Man here, and today I'm talking about The Last of Us Part 2, or The Last of Us 2, I guess. And I'm going to talk about how they should have done the storyline, because a lot of people are kind of pissed off about how they did it, and especially how dirty they did Joel. Messed up his name there for a minute. But yeah, a lot of people are pissed off about how they did him because it was a stupid way, to be honest. And it's kind of a stupid plot line. Um, and a lot of people are pissed off that you get to play as the villain to see her side of the story and to see why you should feel sad and bad for her, which is stupid because you're literally giving us a few hours with this person and being like, oh, look how sad it was that Joel did this to her dad. By the way, there's gonna be spoilers on this. But yeah, it seemed like, oh, look how sad it was that Joel did this to her dad. It's so sad. It's so like, oh my goodness, cry, 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 sad. Um, which is kind of stupid because we've been with Joel and Ellie from the first game to the second game, or we were thinking in the second game. But then you're just like, no, you're just gonna be fucked over, and you're only gonna have Ellie and this new character that you're gonna fucking hate. But we're gonna try to make you feel bad for her, which is stupid as hell. Um, so I'm gonna talk about how I would change it and how I think it would have been a better storyline. So if you haven't played it yet, uh, which sadly I have not because I do not have the money to play it right now. But I have been watching some Let's Plays of it, so I do know the main story so far. And basically, the storyline is you're playing as Ellie from the original game, and you're kind of just doing your daily routine in your new hometown, or your new town, I guess, that you're really enjoying because you have friends there, you're getting a new girlfriend there, or you're getting a new relationship. It's not really a relationship just yet. Of course, Joel's there and stuff, and we learn a little bit later that Ellie found out that Joel killed the fireflies, and she got pissed off about that, and basically told him to go fuck himself. And then it turns out, like a few years later, they're kind of getting their relationship back together because Ellie wants to, but she's still pissed off at him. You know, through flashbacks, which are, by the way, which are some of the best parts of the shows, is the flashbacks. Best parts of the game, I guess, are the flashbacks. But yeah, we learn that Joel and Ellie are not on the best terms right now. And then we learn that they go out and look around for people, I assume, and obviously the zombies. They look around for zombies and people and stuff, and they do all that. And Joel and Ellie do that, but Joel's an old man, obviously. But it turns out that there's a gang of people coming after Joel because he killed the fireflies and they had children, I guess, or some of them did, I guess. So they go after him and they finally catch him, and it's like in the first, I don't know, hour of the game when they catch him, and then they just fucking murder him straight up. It's pretty fucked up. It's pretty fucked up, and it's like, it was kind of dumb. A lot of people saying how, like, it wasn't even earned, sort of thing, you know, and I can totally see that. It was just kind of like, really, really. So it was kind of dumb. And then, of course, it goes on this vengeance mission with Ellie and her new quote unquote girlfriend that she kind of slept with once, and now she's going with Ellie. And then There's a stupid plot line in there where it's like, oh, I'm pregnant, by the way. I didn't tell you this fucking miles ago for some fucking reason. It's like, oh, really? Well, thanks. Now I have to deal with you. And I don't even know how she can keep that child because she got fucking beat up so bad. And that, like, there's one scene where she fucking fell like a whole 2 stories or so. But somehow she's still keeping her child, I guess, or whatever. I don't know. It's not very logical. It's very dumb. I think any rational person would be like, "Hey, I think I'm pregnant. Let's turn around and drop me off in least, and then you can go back out." But whatever, I guess. Puppy love, I guess, because I think they're only about 18 to 20, so I don't know. um, so that happens. She goes on this revenge quest, and then we get to play as the evil girl, and yada yada. Who cares about her quest? Because she sucks. And I was just thinking, what would happen? I was just thinking, like, what would be a better storyline than that? And I think I have a better storyline than that because that storyline, to be honest, could work if it was given more time. But at the same time, it's not given more time and it sucks. So it's not gonna work. So what would be the alternate Last of Us 2 I would have not made because obviously I don't make video games. But I would have like given them hints to put into it. So this would be my take on it. Okay, so the beginning starts off like it does in the game. It starts off with Joel coming back, talking to Ellie and singing her that song because it's a really nice song. I like that song. Um, and then it goes to the future, but this time it's not only like 3 years in the future where she's only like 18 to 20 years old or somewhere around there, I assume. So it's not like only 3 years. It's like 15 years in the future. Because she's now in the future. She's about like I would say around 29 to 30ish. So a late 20-year-old and early 30-year-old. And it turns out she's living in a house, I guess, at this point instead of I think she was living in like a garage or something like that. But I assume she's living in a house, maybe even Joel's house. I don't know. Um, and she has a wife. Okay, so no backstory for that. So we don't get some hoity-toity love story between Ellie and her lover. No, she just has a wife, and her wife is currently pregnant because they decided that they want to have a kid. Uh, which they obviously got a surrogate father for, which would probably be the same guy, just older, I guess, as in the show, as in the game as it is now. So we realize that she has a wife, and Joel is looking old. He's looking old, and he's having some troubles. Okay, but first off, Ellie still does not know that Joel did that to the Fireflies because she still went back to the Firefly location, which we do not get to see, but we just assume that she did it, I guess. Or maybe we do get to see it, I don't know. But she went back there, but they didn't forget to they didn't leave a tape recorder there because normal people don't just leave their shit around the place, I guess. I don't know, that's pretty stupid. But whatever, I guess. In the game, people just leave shit around everywhere, so. But anyways, she never finds that or she never goes or whatever. So she's content at this point because she has like this nice life with this nice family. She has this job where she goes out and looks for things, and she's having like this good family life, and plus she still has a little bit of adventure in her life because, sometimes you need a little bit of fun. Um, so she's having this nice life, and she's content with it, and she's kind of put that thought to the back of her head. She's still suspicious of it, but it's to the back of her head, so she's not really thinking about it 24/7 anymore. And we see Joel and Tommy, and they're both very old, but it's turning out to be a lot worse for Joel because of all the shit he went through and all the pain he's been through and all the fucking shit he's just been through. He's just very old. He has some problems. I think that he might even have like a limp through like from something. I don't know exactly what. Um and he probably like has some back problems. And I assume Ellie uh would try to say like, "Hey Joel, like don't you think, cuz she cares about him obviously." So she'd be like, "Hey Joel, don't you think like maybe you could help out with the horses or something instead of going on these patrols, or you think you can do this instead of doing this sort of thing." She's trying to nudge him, or she's trying to like push him towards a different job because she thinks he's too old. She thinks he's not really capable anymore. To the point where he's getting old and slow, and he might even need a cane or something like that. It might be interesting like that. But yeah, she thinks he's getting just too old, and she's like, "Hey, like I'm just thinking like, you're good with horses, or you're good with this, and you could help out with this, or just retire in general. I'm sure people wouldn't mind if you just retired and just stayed at home and did whatever you want. Like, me and my wife can help." So I think that would be the dynamic between them. Joel just being this stubborn old fool that doesn't want to stop, and Ellie trying to nudge him towards being like, "Hey, I think it's about time you stop because you're super old and you have a bunch of problems." Um, and then the events would go out through normal, okay? Like in the game, Joel and them go out, and then Ellie and them go out. Uh, Sorry about that little skip there, but in the game, Ellie and them go out to find, to go look for, I don't know, bad things, I guess, the zombies and such. They go out on a patrol. So it would play out like that, except Ellie would obviously know these patrols a lot better because she's been on them plenty of times. She would go with a different person because her wife is obviously at home. Her wife's obviously at home pregnant with a child. So she would go with a different person. They would go to the same locations. The storm would happen again. Um, the storm would happen again. She'd probably still go to that basement and get high with her friend because, she still has that, not like a childish nature, but she still has like some interest in like, hey, I do some weed, not that bad. There's a storm outside. Don't really need to do anything outside. But obviously they would never have intercourse or anything like that because she has a wife and she's not a cheater. Or maybe they would. I don't know. Maybe her wife and her live in a polyamorous relationship. I don't fucking know. Don't ask me. I'm not the one writing the stupid shit. um, but yeah, they'd like smoke some weed and just chill out there. And then the same thing would happen. The guy would come and be like, "Hey, uh, like, what the hell are you guys doing? You're supposed to be on watch." And like, oh, and then Ellie would be like, "Oh, what about Joel and stuff?" And he'd be like, "Oh, they never showed up." And she'd be like, "Wait, what?" The only thing that'd be different is that you never get to play as the villain. Okay, the villain does not. She does not exist in this. Uh, what happens instead is you hear this and you go looking for them. You're just like, "What the fuck?" We gotta go look for them in this storm, and when you find them, they're surrounded by these cultish members. Basically, they've been fighting against cult members and zombies this whole time. and you end up saving their asses. So Joel does not die at this point. You end up saving his ass and taking him back, along with along with at least one of the cult members still alive. And you kind of ask them about it. And throughout this whole time, by the way, there's gonna be hints left in buildings and stuff where there's gonna be like little notes left around because in the game there's like notes and stuff left around. But there's gonna be some notes left around where it's gonna say like, oh, I ran into this crazy cult saying like this crazy cult abducting women and wanting to find a woman and an old man. They're abducting women and wanting to find a woman and an old man, sort of thing. And it's just like, oh, what? They're abducting women, and you're gonna think like, oh, they're abducting them to do some pretty bad stuff. but that's, but that's just that's a that's a what would you call it again? A device that shadows the future, I guess. I forgot what you call it. But you know what I'm talking about, right? It's something that will tell the future pretty much. So you'll see these little notes around saying like, "Oh, I ran to this crazy cult thing, crazy cult religion doing this." So after you save Joel and Tommy and bring them back, and plus one of the cult members, he kind of talks and says like a bunch of babbling stuff, a bunch of babbly shit, just saying like, "Oh, like we will be saved because I don't know, the bad guy, I guess, or I." I guess they wanted the bad guy to be our girl, so I guess it'd be a she. They're like, oh, she will lead us to salvation and stuff like that. And he keeps on saying stuff like that. He's just like, all we need is one girl. That's all we need is just one girl that we need to find. And it'll be like, what? Really? It'd be like, what? Interesting? Like, what? And then after that, the town would get attacked by these cult members with some makeshift bombs and guns and stuff. And a lot of people would die in the town, but mostly the cult members because there's more people in the town. So you'd kill most of the cult members, but this is where it gets interesting, right? This is where we get the story of revenge. Except it's not revenge, it's more like a rescue mission. Because Ellie's, that's her name, right? Ellie? Yeah. Because Ellie's girlfriend, or Ellie's wife at this point, who's pregnant, is kidnapped by them, along with several other women, and maybe a few men, I guess, as well. Maybe a few older men. They're all kidnapped, and they're all ran away. And of course, Ellie's not having any part of this, and she's like, oh, fuck this. I'm gonna go out and fucking deal with this. And there's gonna be like this little town meeting, and they're gonna be like, oh, we need to deal with this diplomatically. We need to go talk to these people. Like, some people are gonna be saying that. Some people are gonna be like, no, what we need to do is we need to fortify our walls and get, like, just prepare for another attack. And then some people, like Ellie and Joel, are gonna be like, no, we gotta go save our people and fuck these people up. Because Ellie and Joel want to go save Ellie's wife, and Joel wants to protect Ellie, obviously, and save his, I don't know, maybe godchild, I guess. At this point, he'd probably be more of a godchild, because he's not technically her father, so maybe she would name him the Godfather, I guess. So maybe a godchild or something like that. But yeah, they want to go save her, and Joel obviously wants to protect Ellie on the way. So she and a few other people go out to save them, and a few other people stay behind and work on the place and try to fortify it. So they go out to deal with this cult. As they go out there, it's very dangerous, obviously. It's kind of like the gameplay we have now, but just different. It's just like cult members instead. They would still have dogs and stuff. And probably, I would like to see some more weapon variety in there as well. That would be pretty nice. But yeah, some more weapon varieties, some more explosives, some more other things. So we would go deal with the cult members, but at this point, we would be playing as Ellie, and Joel would be our second character. Just like Ellie was Joel's second character in the first one, he'd be following us around as Ellie. And this whole time, it would just remind us of old times. It'd be like, oh, remember this sort of thing, because it would have a bunch of references and stuff like that. But at the same time, Joel, over time, would slowly and slower just slightly mess up things because he's too old to. Because he's old, but he's not like incompetent, obviously. But he's older, so he's slightly messing up some things. He's just like, oops, like he'll make a noise every once in a while that the enemies will hear, or he'll do something stupid every once in a while, and they're like, what the hell did you just do, Joel, sort of thing. And this all culminates, culminates? Well, this all comes to a point where there's one mission, and this is about the half point of the game. Sorry about the little cut. And I just thought of something actually. What if they actually did something like where you could take control of Joel and Ellie? Kind of like Rockstar did with GTA 5, where you could take control of 3 people, but instead of just 3, you could take control of 2. That would be an interesting mechanic in there. If they were to put that in there, like, oh, sometimes I want to play as Joel, sometimes I want to play as Ellie. That'd be interesting. But anyways, back to the story. Okay, so this point would be in the middle of the story, pretty much, where Joel fucks up and almost gets himself killed and Ellie killed. And of course, they go back to their base or wherever their people are staying. And Ellie gets pissed off at Joel, and she's kind of just like yelling at him, be like, Joel, what the fuck, sort of thing. And she obviously says some wrong things because she's really mad at him because not only did he almost kill himself, but he almost killed her, so she's pissed off. And she's like, God damn it, Joel, like, why the fuck do you have to come, sort of thing? Like, you're just a burden right now, sort of thing. And just like she did to her girlfriend in the game, I forgot her name, Abby or something like that. But Ellie would say that to Joel, and Joel, of course, would be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be a burden, or something like that. Like, all sad and somber, and then he'd walk off into a room and just shut the door. And she'd be like, oh, Jesus Christ. And then the characters would call her over, and they'd be like, okay, come here, we finally found the base of the head honcho of the bad guy cult, right? They found the base of the head honcho of the bad guy cult. And they're like, okay, it's like here, we can attack here and here and here and here. And they basically make this plan, and then Ellie says, like, okay, let's sleep on it, and we'll get up early, we'll get up in the morning, and we'll start heading there, and start doing our plan to save our people, and kill these motherfuckers. To which, we get an indication that Joel has been listening this whole time. And there's also going to be a little scene in that cutscene where one of the people is like, shouldn't you go talk to Joel and just apologize to him? And Ellie's going to be like, yeah, I'll talk to him tomorrow morning. And I'll tell him that he can't come because he's too old, she thinks. And she's like, I'll tell him that he can't come, sort of thing. Like, I'll make sure he's not going to come. Like, I'll make sure he's not going to get himself hurt or us hurt. Because that's just her thought process at that point, right? So, and we see Joel just listening into this whole conversation about the hideout, about like them not wanting him to come because he's too old. And Tommy might be in this, by the way, somewhere, or maybe he's one of the ones that get kidnapped, or maybe he's one of the ones that got killed. I don't know. But yeah, we get to see Joel just listening into that, and then, lo and behold, next day, Ellie wakes up, Joel's gone, and she's just like, the fuck, Joel? Like, god damn it. Because Joel's gone, and the map is probably gone with him. Because he went off to solve this problem by himself to prove to Ellie that he's not too old, and also to protect her to a certain extent. So he goes off to solve it by himself. Ellie's pissed off at him for doing this shit, obviously. And she's like, for fuck's sakes. So then she leaves by herself. has to go fight and go through some people, obviously, until finally she reaches the main bad guy. This is where it would play out like the video game when Ellie reaches them beating the fuck out of Joel. And then he dies, obviously. But this would be a little bit different because she would reach him. She would reach them. Do it like she would reach them. Not beating the fuck out of Joel because there's these crazy cult people that are just holding them captured pretty much. So she would barge in. They would tackle her down like they did before, and she'd just be sitting there. And Joel would yell out like, "Leave her alone! She's just a dumb kid," sort of thing, trying to get him to stop hurting Ellie. And she'd be like, "Oh, she's just a dumb kid," and she'd probably say something, but then we would get like this evil dialogue sort of thing, and Joel would be like, why the fuck are you doing this?" Or maybe Ellie would say it, like, "Why the fuck are you doing this shit? This is stupid. The fuck is your problem? Why are you kidnapping people, and especially like women? Why are you kidnapping women? Like, of all things, why? Like, are you using them for like sex slaves or what?" And then the lady says, well, this man right here, he destroyed almost all the chances we had at a cure for the virus. And Ellie's just like, "Wait, what?" Because remember, she doesn't know this fact yet. She's pushed that memory and that thought to the back of her head. It's still been lingering there, but she doesn't know if it's true or not. But basically, this lady starts the evil lady. She starts spouting off like how Joel killed the fireflies and did all this and did all that, right? And Ellie's just like, "Wait, what?" And she's just like, "This is what I've been looking for this whole time. I've been looking for this old fuck and the girl that he stole away, so I can get that girl to make the vaccine." Which Ellie would be like, "The fuck?" And she'd be like, kind of like stunned and kind of like, "What the fuck?" sort of thing. And Joel the whole time would be like, "Oh, shut up," sort of thing, trying to talk over and trying to be like, "Hey, that's not true," sort of thing. Or maybe he'd just be, I don't know, listening. I don't know exactly what Joel would be doing at this point, but there'd be like a little monologue of this evil lady. And she's like, "That's why I stole man and women, older man and female women around this age to find the person that did it." And then maybe someone asks like, "Well, what do you do with them after?" And I assume after they don't really kill them, they just kind of let them go and they die by accident from probably clickers and stuff, I assume. So I assume they do something like that, but I don't know. But basically, she tells the story of like what happened to the fireflies and how he fucked everything up and how she finally found him and how she's gonna find the girl now and create the cure and she tells this story and Ellie's just kind of like totally like the fuck and she's kind of devastated and then she's just devastated and then Joel says what he should have said because this is the best argument towards a person that says, "Well, you killed fireflies and you killed all these people that just wanted to help and create a vaccine." So he says, he says, he says, "You know what? That's a load of shit because you're gonna kill a little girl for something that might not even worked. Not to mention, you never gave her the opportunity to choose. You knocked her out and just decided for her. So I decided to save her life because none of you would even give her an opportunity to say if she wanted it or not." And then the evil lady would look at him and be like, "Oh, so if we gave him an opportunity, if we gave her the opportunity, and she said yes, you wouldn't have saved her." And Joe would have just given this like look of like probably still would have saved her, but like I don't know sort of thing. He would just gave this like look. I don't know, just be this weird look, and then the evil girl would be like, "I thought so," and then she would say something like, because she's at this point she's a crazy cult leader, who's also from Joel's past. She's one of the kids that the Fireflies. She's like the kid of the doctor, I guess. I don't know, like the one we have now, but better. So basically, she's like one of them. She knows what happened. She knows what Ellie is, and there's still a chance to make this vaccine. But instead of being like a crazy bitch that beats the fuck out of him, instead she's like this crazy cult leader who's grown, who's grown just like super crazy because of her own fantasies of delusions and of grandeur and stuff. So she's just grown super crazy, and she's just like, dispose of him. Like I wish you farewell, and I hope God will guide you well in the afterlife, and then just say dispose of him, and then that's where he dies in the story, in the middle of the story, not at the beginning, in the middle of the story, and of course, um, of of course, the main, of course, Ellie is gonna start screaming at this point, going like, please don't," sort of thing. And then they're gonna do it anyways. They're probably just gonna shoot him in the face or something like that. And then she's gonna be like, "Oh, put the girl with the others, drag her downstairs and throw her in a cage, getting ready to be tested if she's has the virus or not. Getting ready to have like blood tests and stuff to see if she has it, so she can become the cure again." And now at this point, you just live through this story of bad guys just trying to destroy the place you love now, stealing your wife away from you, and then you trying to rescue her, leading all the way up to Joel's death, which is earned, at least in my opinion, and is a really sad death. But at the same time, it brings in these other things, these other feelings, because you also learn that Joel was the one that killed the Fireflies that could have turned you into a vaccine. So Ellie is just in her cell kind of crying. Sorry about that little scare, but before I say what Ellie's doing in the cell, because she's so devastated, I just wanted to mention that this would actually make more sense than what they actually did in the game, because in the game they kill Joel, and they basically knock out Tommy and Ellie, and then they just leave him there, knowing that something bad could happen. But they're just like, no, let's leave him there. Let's not kill them. That doesn't make any fucking sense. That's like some plot armor if I've ever fucking seen some. Um, at least in this iteration, it'd be like, oh, they killed Joel, but the reason why they didn't kill Ellie was because she has the cure. So that like they didn't kill her because she might have been the one that has the cure. So that's why they didn't kill Ellie. So it'd make a lot more sense of just like, oh, we feel bad for these people, so let's not kill them. We only came to kill him, sort of thing. Because that makes no fucking sense. Because if you're gonna kill someone in front of one of their loved people, in front of one of their loved ones, you might as well kill them both. You know what I mean? Like, because that other person might come after you later. Just saying. So that was a stupid thing. But anyways, Ellie would be sitting in her cell. Sorry about that little skip. But Ellie is just kind of in this cell, kind of just crying because of what she just found out and stuff like that. So she's just kind of just like, holy shit, like my father figure for so long has just died. And I also realized that he's a total fucking asshole that was lying to me this whole time. And at this point, it will give you the options for a few different endings, because this would be a multiple ending type thing. It would basically be like, okay, so what's your pathway now? Do you tell them that you're this person and that they can experiment on you as long as they release all the other girls to back to the city safely, sort of thing. And then you get yourself killed, I guess, or maybe you try to escape after that. I don't know. Do you go on this path of revenge to revenge Joel because they just killed Joel? And your girlfriend's probably still alive, I guess, because they probably haven't done their experiments on her yet. But she's still alive amongst some of the other girls. But some of them they probably released back into the wild and they probably died from clickers and such. But yeah, now you just but at this point, Ellie is just completely devastated from Joel's death. Also from the fact that she learned what Joel did, and she has to deal with this, and you have to like make a decision. Like, are you gonna turn yourself in? Are you gonna go after these people and kill them? Maybe do a little bit of a mixture of both. Maybe kill the people, kill the head honcho that's a total crazy bitch, and she killed Joel, so kill her. And then save the scientists there and bring them back to the town and be like, hey, I have the virus, make me into a cure, sort of thing. So sacrificing yourself in the end. There's like so many endless possibilities of how that could end after that. But I just thought I'd make this video because I thought that would be a way better story than the one they gave. Just basically one of you trying to save someone, and then at the end finding out like holy shit, and having your basically father figure die in front of you and being like, oh my goodness, and us as the player to be like, oh my fucking god, that's fucking horrible. And then you'd be like, oh shit, what the fuck is Ellie thinking? She's like fucking devastated. Like, holy shit, what the fuck? It'd be fucking crazy. It'd be like super awesome. But of course, this will never happen because they've already made the game, and I guess it's okay. From what I've seen of it, it's okay. But kind of stupid. They kind of killed one of the main characters off really quickly, in a really stupid way, in my personal opinion. And plus, they let you play as the bad guy for some fucking reason, I guess, to make them seem more sympathetic. But it doesn't really work it doesn't really work out, to be honest. And you could say like, well, what if they wanted to play as the bad guy in the other show? I mean, in the other game. And I would say, okay, you can let us play as the bad guy and give him a little bit of backstory and stuff, but let us beat the main storyline first with Ellie and Joel and stuff, and then be like, hey, you unlock this extra game mode where you get to play as the villain, just in case people don't want to play as the villain. Or I'm sure most people would be like, okay, yeah, I'll play that. And then we get to see a total different perspective of this thing, of this person that did all these horrible things. And we get to see why she did them, how she turned into who she was. And you could do that as like an unlockable, or you could do it as a DLC, I guess, as well. So you could still make them play as a villain, see how empathetic they are, just in a different way, completely not impacting the main game. But yeah, I just thought I'd just talk about this and just throw out my thoughts, throw out like what I would have done differently. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hit that bell notification. Best way to keep my channel. Link down below to my Twitter. And remember, my friends, stay sane. Peace. Shadow, my baby, I love you so much. You're my baby. And you love to sleep in the bathtub. 'Cause you're a weirdo. Shadow, look over here, buddy. Look over here.